Pain heals. Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever.
Are y'all ready for this? Oh, the media is wild. We're gonna have a little fun here. I actually have just really a short clip of Elle Duncan that I want to play, but this clip from Cam Newton and a little blurb from Stephen A. Smith just work so well with it that I want to work through them before we get to the Elle Duncan thing when we're talking about Juju Watkins. Now, of course, this Cam thing was before Juju got hurt. Really hope I don't know. I haven't heard anything yet in terms of scheduled surgery, all that. I really hope if she had the surgery, it went well. I want to see her go through minimal recovery. Everything goes well. She gets back on the court as quickly as possible. So again, not this isn't about Juju. This is about the discussion around her. It's really funny when I put Cam with Stephen A. and then Elle Duncan's question. It's like, well, what the hell are you all talking about? You might want to get together and get on the same page. So we'll play this. I think I have a short clip where if you listen to this, he's talking about himself first and then equates that to Angel. And anyway, we'll just play this, and I think I have to stop it in a couple places to make my commentary. But yeah, it's interesting.
Them. Cam Newton, choose a side. Either you love him or you hate him. Angel Reese.
I don't love him. I don't hate the guy. I just think he's an absolute clown and has no idea what he's talking about. So sorry for cutting that off. You heard he said Angel Reese. He's going to say, I'll just back it up just a little bit. He says, and let this play through. Sorry about that. I just had to say I'm not a fan.
Choose a side. Either you love him or you hate him. Angel Reese has done that and did that for Caitlin Clark. Even with
That is nonsense. See, there it goes again. That they're not going to let up on the narrative. Now, the thing is, I will say this in all fairness, I don't think Cam Newton is lying there to push a narrative. I think he actually believes that. Like he's just the bubble that he's in and ESPN and all this stuff he pays attention to. I'm sure he has only heard that Caitlin Clark became popular after the LSU Iowa 2023 national championship game, right? That's his thing there. Angel Reese played the villain role at the end of that game, and that is what made Caitlin Clark popular. And he has said before that he thinks that's Juju's problem. He kind of said the same thing. He didn't get into the tan level thing the insane way Bomani Jones did, but he did kind of say the same thing that Juju doesn't have that villain, and that's why she's not popular. But anyway, this question's kind of wild too. Listen to this nonsense.
The statistics of Juju versus Caitlin Clark. Her numbers is around the same. She's balling, younger, and doing her thing at a USC versus a Iowa.
None of that is true. Again, like I don't know. I have no idea who this guy is. I know his grammar's really poor, but he has no idea what he's talking about. And we've talked about this before, so I won't go into a deep dive for this in the numbers, but Juju Watkins' numbers are nothing like Caitlin Clark's. Even if you compare the first two seasons, they are nothing like Caitlin Clark's numbers. Again, Juju, more turnovers than assists, incredibly poor shooter, right? Juju is a scorer. She is not a good shooter. She is not a good shooter at all. I'm sorry to say, but that is the simple fact of the matter. I mean, she is something like 31, 32% from three, and she doesn't shoot threes the way Caitlin Clark does. She's like 45% from two, something like, I mean, she just doesn't, she's not a good shooter. Her numbers don't compare at all to Caitlin Clark's. Her field goal percentage is like 42.6, but even her EFG is under 50. It's 47.9%. Caitlin Clark's 2-point shooting percentage, much higher than that, right? It's not even close. Assists, I'm not even sure Juju has Caitlin Clark on rebounds. Off the top of my head, I can't think, but I'm going to put that number up on this for you before you see this video. I think Caitlin might even have Juju on rebounds in college, but yeah, her numbers aren't even close. So here again we go with the nonsense of they don't know what they're talking about.
saying only reason because she's not being pushed like Caitlyn is because she don't have an arch nemesis?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And Juju is a bigger baller than Caitlin Clark.
You hear that? Juju's better, guys. He didn't. Now, he will say something else, which is a little different in a second here, but he just baller, right? So player is what he's saying. You know, Cam's trying to keep it real, man. The multimillionaire from the streets. She's a better baller, right? You just heard it there. Juju Watkins is better than Caitlin Clark, which is absolutely absurd, of course. Juju is a big-bodied guard who bowls her way to the basket and gets a lot of free throws, takes a lot of shots, but is not a good shooter.
Said it, and it has nothing to do with black and the white, but the statistics
Are we sure about that?
say what everybody needs to be knowing. Juju is a better athlete than Caitlin Clark. That's
The statistics say it, folks. The statistics that I've gone through, Caitlin's statistics across the board are better than Juju Watkins, period. And that's not even including the fact that Caitlin makes her teammates around her better, which Juju Watkins does not do and has never done. Now the man is flat out lying. Now, again, I shouldn't say it. He may have been told this and he just takes it at face value because it's what he wants to believe. Because you cannot look at the numbers of these two players, Juju Watkins and Caitlin Clark, and say Juju's a better baller because that's what the numbers say. The numbers don't say that at all in any way, shape, or form, no matter what number you're looking at. It simply does not say that. And then he goes, better athlete. Now, maybe I'll break that down in another video. Maybe I'll see if I can get some clips in this and that, but I've watched both of them play a lot of basketball. I think in that, and I'm not saying it's purposeful here, okay? I'm not trying to make that division, but in that, I think Cam Newton has some bias in the visuals to make that. Because if you watch them play, I don't believe Juju Watkins is a better athlete than Caitlin Clark. You can get Juju out in the soccer pitch and see how that goes, and maybe we'll decide if she's a better athlete or not. But watching them play basketball, I don't think Juju Watkins is a better athlete. I think she's a good athlete. Please, again, don't make the mistake of thinking this is me hating on Juju. No, this is me bringing them back to reality with these absurd comments.
not to say Caitlin Clark ain't good, but she's been what the game has been missing. And
Sorry, I know. Stop stopping it. The reason that jumped like that is because it doesn't mean Caitlin Clark's not good. And then he went into some expletives about how phenomenal she is. So I just clipped that out.
I love that for her. But if I'm speaking facts, that's what the facts is.
Stephen A. March is going
If I'm speaking facts, no, you're not actually at all. And I just went through all that. None of what you said is a fact. And it's not, I won't even get to never mind. And then just a reminder, we have this about Stephen A. And then I'll get you the Elle Duncan clip, which should top it off. It should be the nice cherry on your Sunday.
to be a lot of fun. How impressive was Juju's performance?
She's spectacular. She's spectacular. And when are we going to start talking about her the same way we talk about Caitlin Clark? I mean, you look at her skills, you look at what she is special. When are we going to start doing that? Because let me tell you something. This sister's got game. Averaged 27 last year, averaging 24 this year. USC is winning. If you look at her skill sets, her ball handling ability, her driving ability, her shot making ability, her three-point shooting shot making ability, this sister is something special. She is spectacular. Pull up Jay right there. She is the package, and she's been the package. We saw her coming last year, but now that Caitlin Clark is gone, we should be focusing on her even more so now. And just like I told you when Caitlin Clark was the golden goose, I said that's the golden goose. That didn't mean she was the best player in the world. It meant that she was pretty damn good and coming, okay? And the fans loved her. I'm saying the only question now about Juju is, why is she not being shown more love? Because clearly she deserves it.
Yeah.
I watch that and I just think this man is such an absolute clown. He's never even watched Juju Watkins play basketball. He just went through his list, right? Her shot making, her dribbling, her 3-point shooting, making ability, you know, the 31% that she shoots from three, the 45% 45%, I think, roughly 45% that she shoots from two. No, she is not a shot maker. She's a bull, and I don't mean that negatively, but that is her game. She bowls her way to the basket. LeBron bowls his way to the basket, and he's going to end up in the Hall of Fame, okay? So don't take that the wrong way. But Stephen A is clearly going down the nonsense of just listing stuff and saying that she's special. That's what she's so good at. The man has never watched her play. Maybe by now he has. Maybe he's been forced to at this point. But, and this is what I'm going to finish off with Elle Duncan. And, well, I might play one other question in here, but this first question is absolutely wild. But it goes to what Stephen A and Cam were just saying about Juju's not getting love. Why aren't we pushing it? First of all, you're the media. So if you don't think the media is giving her enough love, that's your fault. Look in the mirror, my friends. You are the ones who are supposed to be pushing her. Okay? Do we understand this at all? Absolutely wild. And then, of course, I won't go through all it again, but we all know this. Can you watch a sporting event now without Juju Watkins? I mean, whether it's, she is everywhere. State Farm, she's on built murals on billboards, on buildings, and all this stuff. So no, no one, I won't say no one knew, but Caitlin Clark didn't get anything like this her sophomore year in college. Okay. Now, just to show you what all nonsense that was, listen to this question from Elle Duncan. As soon as I hit play, it's going to go. So you listen. This is her opening question to Juju Watkins.
Since you've become the face of women's basketball, what's your why?
What the actual F are we talking about? Not women's college basketball, not college basketball, women's basketball. Elle Duncan, Elle the Dum Dumbo Duncan. Yeah, that is what she just said. She called Juju Gumdrop Watkins. What were they called? Do they still have them? What are those, Mike and Ike's? I don't know. That's what I always think of when I hear her name, Juju. I didn't say that. That just came out. That wasn't an insult. I was just riffing off her first name. Juju. I like that. I think it's good. I think it's a good nickname for her. Gumdrop. I'm going with it. But she just called. So she's not getting any media love, folks, but she is the face of women's basketball. There's no qualifier there. Women's basketball. Has anyone contacted Asia Wilson? Has anyone seen if Asia Wilson is okay? Is Asia Wilson going to come speak out about this nonsense and this racial hate from Elle Duncan, calling Juju Watkins the face of women's basketball? We're going to let her answer because I am going to play one more question before I let you go because we're having a little fun now, right? We're having a little fun. All right, let's let Gumdrop go.
So many whys. I think biggest thing is just my family, my supporters. I think they definitely drive me on the floor, my teammates, my coaches. There's so many things that go into it. So I'm just grateful that I'm able to play the game.
You had such an incredible year.
So one thing I also want to point out, Juju accepted that. You notice she's like, no, I'm not the face. That's kind of crazy. Also, if you take the question at face value of Elle and don't even get into what I just said, she's basically has just said, you're the greatest ever. You've already done it all. Why are you still playing? Right? I mean, that's when you say, what's your why? That point, when you said you're the one, you're the face of women's basketball, you're saying that's it. You've done everything else. Why are you playing? Yeah, absolutely insane.
Last season, how would you describe the way you think you even upped your game more this season?
Yeah, she didn't up her game really this season. It wasn't as good as last year, but we'll get to we're going to skip that.
And Juju, this season, I have loved to be able to see you do your thing in person. Galen Center is rocking. It's a game-changing atmosphere. How do you feel to see Los Angeles, your home, come alive for women's basketball?
All right, that's the last one, and I'll just say this: USC, and I'm actually surprised at how high it was. USC averaged, I think, 6,097 fans this season. Caitlin Clark's senior year, Iowa averaged 11,143, and they led the country with most games over 13,000 fans in attendance. So that's a little, glazing a little, but in all that, the big thing I wanted to show you is the absolute. They're in disarray. They can't even get on the same page anymore. Because here you got Cam and Steven about, oh, no one pays attention to Juju. Why isn't Juju getting love? We need to be talking about Juju. And Elle Duncan's like, Juju, you're the face of women's basketball. What are we doing out here? Yeah, so in case for those of you who weren't sure, um, it's not going to stop, folks. It's just gonna keep getting worse as we go. So I'm going to leave it there. Let me know your thoughts on all this in the comments below. Thanks so much for checking out the video. Appreciate it as always. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will talk to you later.